Well, thank you for joining me for Reflections in Running on April the 6th, and quite a few horses to go through. I want to very quickly dissect the two opening classics of the season, the 2000 and the 1000 guineas, and then at a lower grade some horses that you may want to look out for as well. Let's get the classics out of the way. At Newmarket, Glen Eagles, very impressive winner, one of only a few horses, 3-year-olds this season that have run well for Aidan O'Brien. I thought he was different class in the paddock to his rivals, and on the track he's a bang miler. I don't think he'll even get a mile and 2 furlongs. He's a lazy horse that only just does enough, and I think the Irish 2000 guineas and indeed the St James's Palace Stakes are his for the taking. And he's a horse that you never know how good he is, because as I say, when he gets to the front he downs tools almost, and he has to be kept up to his game. You could probably add 3 or 4 pounds on to that winning run I have on my private ratings, and I've very much taken by the horse. I was live at Newmarket that day. Also in the Guineas, Mohit, who finished in 8th place. I thought he was a Derby horse. Once again, as in the Craven, things didn't go his way. He was behind a wall of horses, but he travelled like the wrath of God through the first 4.5, 5 furlongs. And Frankie Dettori just took the wrong option by going in outside rather than inside at the rails. But hindsight's a great thing. Connections have always thought that Mohit would be a Derby horse, and I think he could still make an impression there. I think 1.5 miles will be the making of him, especially as he relaxed an awful lot better in the Guineas than he did in the Craven Stakes. Dutch Connection won't get further than the mile. In fact, 7 furlongs will be his trip. He also travelled really well on the bridle for most of the way. He's a Jersey Stakes horse for me, so mark him down for Royal Ascot. You won't see him before Royal Ascot, and fast ground's imperative to him because he floated going down to the start. He was the best mover down to the start, and he wasn't too far away from being the best mover coming back as well. Later on 2000 Guineas Day, make a note of Best of Times, who won a listed race over 10 furlongs. Again, he just hacked along on the bridle for a long way, was given the office 2 furlongs from home, went 3 or 4 lengths clear and held on close to the line, but that was because basically he wasn't hard fit. He's another horse to keep on the right side of. He's a big, huge unit. He'll come on for the run. He'll come on for the experience. That's Best of Times over 10 furlongs. I think he'll make certainly a Group 3 horse, if not a Group 2 horse. Away from there at Thurston, the Hunt Cup, Musa Jeef. Forget about this horse in the Hunt Cup. He travelled way too freely early doors. He's not a miler. He's 7 furlong horse with plenty of give in the ground, so he might not get his conditions over the next couple of months or so. But once he comes down a handicap 3 or 4 pounds, he'll win again. And Off Art, who was well backed and became the 11-2 favourite, had a hell of a draw around the outside and did well as he did to get within 2 lengths of the eventual winner that day. He's a horse who's lightly raced. He's only had 7 runs as a 5-year-old. He'll win a really good handicap. But please, 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 only back Off Art when the ground is fast. He doesn't act with giving the ground, and he floats over the fast ground. He's a very, very nice, lightly raced older horse. 1000 guineas, Legitissimo, hugely impressive. Looked as though she was booked for 5th or 6th, a furlong and a half out, and came with a storming run at the Wells. You saw the race as I did. I don't think she'll stay 1.5 miles. I think 1.25 miles is going to be her optimum trick. She could be an Eclipse filly or even an Irish Champion Stakes filly. She'll take in all the best 1 mile, 2 furlong races. And because she gets weights from the colts, that's where I would take her. She has a great blend of speed and stamina in her breeding as well. And then finally at a lower level, Singer running a 0-80 handicap for the first time over 5 furlongs at Musselburgh last week. But really surprising for me, he didn't settle. He's normally a horse who comes from behind, but he was very keen and very free early doors and therefore raced prominently and basically blew his chance with a furlong to go. He'd blown a gasket. If he gets in a big field, especially at Beverley in behind runners, he is now handicapped to win. I know he doesn't win regularly, but he's handicapped to win in behind horses where he can get a toe. And our trainer for this Reflections in Running to follow, well, there are only 5 or 6 you could say are really in good form, but here's a trainer who hasn't been in good nick over the last 2 years, but her horses are flying. Linda Perrott. 3 winners on that day at Musselburgh, and because her horses have had such a bad time over the past 18 months, a lot of them are well handicapped. Linda Perrott is our trainer for this week in Reflections in Running.